Yeah, it's great to meeting you and having you on for the Europol interview series. And I think we can just start simple with introduction of yourself, what you've been doing on Solana in a Web3 space, and what you're building with Solana Incinerator right now.
Sure. All right. Well, I'm Jnana. Most people call me Jnana or Jay. I'm one of the builders behind Soul Incinerator, Solana's cleanup engine, and essentially we handle the clutter, so you can kind of stay, focused on the moves that matter. At our core, we help people burn unwanted tokens and purge old NFTs, close empty accounts, and essentially recover the soul that's inside of them. Um, so
Cool.
we're, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the Solana Incinerator was actually one of the first tool I started actively using on Solana, one of the first one besides the NFT marketplace. And I remember the time when the NFT bull market, I would say, kind of started to cool off. And I found out about the Solana Incinerator, so I was really amazed how easily I can get some Solana back and own without actually doing anything. So, but I'm curious, what inspired you and the team to create Solana Incinerator in the first place? Was there any specific pain points or problems you see in Solana ecosystem you wanted to solve?
Yeah, well, actually, like you said, so back when NFTs were absolutely going wild, people had literally hundreds of NFTs just sitting in their wallets that they couldn't really do anything with because they were either rugs or completely illiquid, right? And it got to a point where your wallet felt like this like museum of bad decisions, and there was no way to clean it up. So we got annoyed with it and staring at this junk and with no solution, so we built one. Um, and pretty much as simple as that. It was essentially built for us originally, and so yeah, I guess on the pain point side, I guess the biggest ongoing battle has honestly been keeping up constantly with the different token standards and UI expectations. Um,
Yeah.
right? I mean, Solana moves so fast, and new standards are popping up all the time. Old ones get depreciated. So just kind of, we do a lot of updating things behind the scenes to make sure everything just works for people. And it's really started by saving. We gotta. I mean, it's a big piece of it. I think the other pain point we've had is just kind of saving users from themselves. Like people don't like to read, and everyone's moving like 100 miles per hour, so they just fly through transactions without reading anything. So
Yeah.
so it's for us, it's been adding like extra safeguards, and we got to make sure that we're preventing our customers from accidentally burning, and just making the whole process smooth and safe.
Yeah. I guess the Solana Incinerator as a company started back in 2021, 2022, and one of the really few ones that's still active today and still building and pulling up like amazing out numbers. What would you say was the main reason for this tool in your company to stay relevant in the Solana ecosystem, as well as to retain the number of users and grow rapidly over the time?
um, can you rephrase that for me again?
Yeah, so basically, why do you think Solana Tracer was so successful in the Solana ecosystem, and how you managed to stay relevant for and growing user base constantly over the years?
Well, essentially, every kind of every wallet itself is like potentially user for Incinerator, right? Um, and I mean, back in the day, it was more so essentially people seeing the same issues we saw with like all these rugged NFTs and their wallets just being full of clutter um, and kind of being able to get rid of that for them, their unwanted assets, and reclaim Solana that they didn't have before. So it's that was kind of the originally in regards to staying relevant. I mean, because of the mechanics and how rent works with token accounts across Solana and as Solana scales, then essentially just continuing, to give us, more users, to be able to onboard more, not just
Yeah.
adding more features for our current users, but also the ability to onboard all new users as they come into Solana.
Yeah, totally agree. I guess the Solana growth has just boosted up the Sol Incinerator as a product and positioned itself as a cool, I guess, yeah, tool to get some Solana back from your NFTs, CNFTs holding, and so on and so on. Because you guys added a lot of new assets as Solana been adding them, like CNFTs, as I said, tokens, NFTs, and so on. But aside of the Solana Incinerator, you also have launched the Soul Slugs NFT collection a while back. And I didn't really understand how it tied in back to the product and what role does it play in a Solana Incinerator ecosystem today.
Sure, sure. So to give you a little bit of history, we launched Soul Slugs back in late 2021, right? The peak Solana NFT era, right? When things were absolutely nuts and everything was minting for like insane amounts of money off of roadmaps were essentially just vapor, right? And it felt like a money grab. So we went the kind of opposite direction and we did a totally free mint. Um, with Soul Slugs, we wanted to prove, you didn't need to raise massive bags to start building. A lot of projects were raising hundreds of thousands,
Oh
sometimes
yeah,
more, and delivering like nothing. So we raised nothing and delivered something, I guess.
yeah. But
Um,
what play does it do in a Solana Incinerator ecosystem today? Is there any community involvement, any incentives, rewards, buybacks, and so on and so off?
well, so they were kind of our way into the ecosystem. So we never actually promised anything besides slug generations, right? And being a free man, it was sort of like, um, more so it's been our early community essentially started, with the NFT being free, and they essentially kind of supported us, and we've supported them. And then, I mean, essentially, it's all love vibes and a little bit of slime at this point.
Yeah, again, this is very unique because I can't recall any other Fremens that grew up through the years and pulling up millions and millions in volume every single quarter. So this is amazing. But Solana Incinerator is also running the validator, which is a side thing, I guess, for you. And right now you have over 56K Solana staked. And looking back, I don't know actually when you launched the validator, but I guess it's been a few years already. Do you think opening the validator turned out to be a good move for the project, for the team, and for the overall growth metrics? And is there any plans to expand it and develop it further?
Sure. So we actually started our validator less than a year ago. Actually, so it's less than a year, but um, I think it was honestly is absolutely is the right it's the right move. I mean, essentially after we've kind of found our footing with Incinerator, I think it's like sort of like the natural next foundational layer for us. I mean, Incinerator, right? It helps people kind of pull soul back into their wallets, and a validator gives them a place to grow it. So it felt like the next logical step for us.
Yeah.
I mean, from like a builder perspective, running a validator lets us contribute right to the chain that we that we help maintain. So yeah, I mean, it's less than a year. We got close to 60,000 delegated at the moment. We got support from Aero Pool and Vault and Soulblaze and the foundation and such, and we're growing our user base slowly. Individual stakers. But we're gonna keep growing that, and we got some pretty cool plans for like deeper integrations and new mechanics around how we can onboard stakers into our validator. So
Yeah, I think Solana Incinerator is one of the perfectest example of how teams actually need to run the validator because the validator is designed to support the decentralization of Solana, but you also need to build something on top. And your tool and your product is a perfect example how you grow the user base as well as attract the stake naturally. Sorry. Um, but getting back to the tool itself, burning tokens and assets involves certain risk, right? And how do you ensure that users don't accidentally lose valuable assets like expensive NFTs, a bag of tokens, and so on and so off? Because I recall I saw quite a few changes in the platform over the years. So if you can just walk me through that and share your thoughts, would be amazing.
sure, you're right. Well, safety is everything. Um, before anything is burned or closed, the user, I mean, our users see exactly what's about to happen. The token itself, right? The account, the amounts, and the overall action of what they're performing. So we don't really abstract any of that. We don't take custody. It's all signed through the user's wallet. Um, and essentially, like, because everyone's moving so fast through things, we've added a whole bunch of safeguards. So we've got confirmations along the workflow itself. We got some warnings, and we even have like a token slider, which hides certain dollar amounts, so it kind of prevents users from accidentally self burning and keeping everything safe. We do have a cleanup itself is entirely safe. You can close all your token accounts and not worry about a thing. When you start digging into like the NFTs and sections where you might have valuable NFT, um, or tokens, we do hide under certain dollar amounts. So you'd have to actually um, move that slider up for one, which is not 100%. You got to make sure you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's and looking exactly at what you have selected, which we display for you. So essentially,
Yeah.
we add in the safeguards and expect the user to make sure they're double checking what they're selecting.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I just think when the big trader select like 300 NFTs, you can't just manually go and check all of them. It's just something that nature of the Web3 people, we're not used to double checking things we should do. So I guess there has been just some concern of security and how to not lose the valuable assets. But at the end of the day, I guess it's just responsibility of myself and everyone else who does the burning thing through your tool. And but the burning is one of the main products of Cell Incinerator. Would you say you are opened and actually actively developing the new tools and bring something new to the ecosystem right now?
Yeah, we're working on it. I mean, we're constantly building, right? And we actually have a revamped dashboard coming, which if you watch our X and TL, you can kind of see a lot of the hints and hinting around some of the features and tooling we have coming out. I'm really excited about this in particular. We're also been working on expanding our APIs across the ecosystem, so other apps can offer cleanup and reclaim features natively. Um, so we're that's a big piece of our expansion and I guess scaling out and up. But there are some other tools, like I said, that we're adding in and on our agenda, which bring different avenues and possibly onboard users who were on with us before, as well as just give more to the users we have. Making them more of a one-stop shop in ways.
Yeah, I would love nothing more just to start the next year with a new tool from you guys and experience the whole new experience, right? And talking about the next year, by the way, how do you see Solana Incinerator as a company and maybe as a team, as well as the one stop shop for Solana users position itself for the 2026 and beyond? As well as what do you think would be the crucial moment for you for the next years?
Um, well, like I said, I mean, I think what we have that we're releasing soon, um, with some more tooling and a new dash, it's going to really help a lot. I think a lot of our we have some partners, some pretty big partners lined up along as well that are low key or unknown at the moment. So at least to the public. So we're excited about those, and when expanding not just I guess our current tooling and burning cleanup functionality, but also obviously integrating and maybe even doing some sort of flywheel mechanics with our validator, um, and just kind of expanding that way. So no, we're excited and we're constantly building and coming up with new ideas. So it's fun.
Yeah, and do you think as we enter the B market, there's going to be any impact on your revenue, on your user base, and Do you expect any struggles or challenges for the team to survive these times?
Yeah, I think I mean we've been around since late 2021, and have Incinerator throughout 2022 until we're what the end of 2025 now. So we've seen some downturns in the market, and we've fluctuating revenue, of course, because when you have like a bear market, a lot of the I don't know if you want to call them tourists or um, people who just come in the last end for the hype of things. A lot of them will leave. So if we were to have just what we have now, um, just clean up functionalities and burning NFTs, then sure, and tokens and all that, then yeah, there'd be a dip in revenue. I think all DeFi apps and applications on Solana, well, 90+% of them, um, closer to 99% even, are going to have some sort of dips in revenue. It'd be very difficult to not expect that, or to have some sort of service that you're offering that doesn't decrease with less users, right? and less transactions, less activity across the board. But I think that's been a big piece for us is how can we generate a revenue through alternate streams, right? And what are other tooling that we can bring in that can help us um, not just survive in a bear market, but help us, thrive throughout it all.
Yeah, I guess the solid incinerator is have seen many cycles before and survived them all. So you guys pretty much get used to those times. And I'm really curious to see, as you mentioned, how new DeFi protocols will adjust and adapt to those times. As you said, probably the revenue will be down by a huge chunk, but I don't think, honestly, that it will impact the cell incinerator at all, and we will become even stronger the next cycle. And talking about the performance of cell incinerators, so far you processed over 48 million transactions and returned more than 400K salt to the users. Do you think you are personally and the whole team is satisfied with the current metrics, results, and the growth over the years?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we're obviously happy and we're satisfied with the results and overall growth for sure. Not without a doubt. But I mean, here's the thing, right? It's like pretty much every wallet on Solana is a potential user. Every trade, every mint, every new token account itself, it all creates trap liquidity that eventually needs to be reclaimed. So, uh, I guess in a way, like our job is kind of just getting started, right? We're basically Solana's waste management layer.
Yeah, that's a really good explanation, I guess, of the silencing rate. And I guess my last question is personally to you, is what excites you the most about Solana right now? Is there any particular trends of areas or sectors you would love to see more attention going towards, and maybe more development going forward?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I think what fires me up the most about Solana right now is just how fast it's been maturing. We're kind of moving past that meme coin frontier and turning into like a real high throughput ecosystem that's pulling in like serious builders and institutions and just mainstream experiments across the board. Um, so the maturity of Solana, it's not just about speed; it's resilience, and TBL has been climbing. Stablecoin inflows are strong. We got spot volumes rivaling centralized exchanges. It's a I think honestly, I think Solana's been like sinking like across tech and culture, and capital's finally is like ready for this large scale adoption. I mean, we just had like the integration with Western Union. We got the SOL ETFs bringing in flows. So I mean, that's a lot of I've seen Solana just grow up throughout the years and mature into what it is now. I love it. I mean, it's for me, it's the best place to be. I guess in terms of more to your question, in terms of trends themselves, and um, I mean, I do follow, and I do like seeing the whole privacy renaissance kind of intrigues me. You got like Archeum and Zcash integrations
Yeah.
and um, but I think probably one of my favorite things is just seeing projects build products that can actually onboard more Web2 users and make that kind of transition more flawless and less friction, right?
Yeah, I agree totally. I think Solana initially started as some kind of NFT chain, right? Where the space was not mature at all. Everyone just raised millions, delivered nothing, and just rocked over time. Then it's been this a meme coins cycles. But now I see DeFi and stable coins dominate this space, and that's how we actually mature as a community and as a chain. And right now, with the whole narrative of Solana going to the Wall Street, type of thing, I see we attract a lot of more traditional traders and users with the whole ETFs and the volumes that we're pulling up. Solana has a really big potential to position itself as the core chain of crypto, and hopefully in the future we will see most of those users become the user of the Solana Incinerator, right? It was a pleasure to meeting you. Appreciate your time. And lastly, if you can tell our audience who maybe doesn't know you and doesn't really have experience the Solana Incinerator yet, how they can find you on Twitter and what's your website?
Sure. All right. Well, you can find me personally at Yoked Up Fun Guy on Twitter. You can find our, in particular, you can find the incinerator at Soul Incinerator. Our website itself is www.soul-incinerator.com. Make sure your spelling is correct across the board. I'll probably check out our X page at Soul Incinerator, and you can go to our website that way. And we do have within that page we have docs and help. And if you want to read more about what we do, feel free to check that out or reach out to
Awesome.
myself.
Awesome. Yeah. And I should mention that we at Aero really proud and happy to support you guys and delegate to you as a part of the Phase Labs to work alongside you really tightly. And I know and I actually know that something is being cooking for the Netrunner launch for with the Solid Thread and getting your community involved. So maybe you can share some early alpha around it.
Sure. Yeah. No. Definitely. So I absolutely love Phase Labs, Aeropool. Everything you guys have been building and shipping has been um, absolutely quality. You guys have a phenomenal team, and to work with you along you guys and with you guys, seeing you guys individually grow as well as just kind of working together here and there has been a blast for sure. So, Netrunner, I'm super stoked about. Essentially, I actually was one of the first, if not the first user using their the beta before a lot of people had access to actually complete my taxes successfully. And I ran my wallets through other crypto tax applications prior, and um, none of them were as accurate as Netrunner was for me. So I was like out of the gate with not even before um, fully being out there for the people is in a beta environment, was doing better than all these other tax tools that I was messing around with and have used in the past. So kudos. And so the actual app itself, love it. And in regards to integrations, yeah, no, I mean, think about it this way, right? Without spilling the beans too much, we're all about burning and closing token accounts and wallet hygiene, right? And um, I think tax loss harvesting, right? If you have assets that are illiquid that you can't get rid of on the market, and you're looking, you need to harvest your tax losses. Well, what a better combo than a Soul Incinerator meets Netrunner, right?
Exactly. And I know the Netrunner team and developers been working tirelessly on a Netrunner tool and delivering the version to you. And we're really excited to get your community involved and see how this whole thing plays out. But yeah, as I said, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for coming by. And we talk soon again.
Yeah, Mango, definitely my pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me.